The notification from my banking app made my stomach drop. Three separate charges totaling $47,000, all from online gambling sites I'd never heard of. My hands trembled as I scrolled through the transaction history, desperately hoping there was some mistake. I'm Summer, and until today, I thought building a seven-figure business by age 28 was my biggest challenge. Turns out, having a father who steals your identity is worse. This has to be a mistake, I muttered, pacing my office. But deep down, I knew exactly who was responsible. Only one person had access to my credit card information, the same person who had borrowed it last month to book a business lunch. I grabbed my keys and drove straight to my parents' house, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. The familiar colonial-style home looked peaceful in the afternoon sun, masking the storm I was about to unleash. Dad was in his study, looking perfectly composed in his usual button-down shirt and slacks. The sight of him calmly sipping coffee while reading the newspaper made my blood boil. Care to explain these charges? I thrust my phone in his face, displaying the transactions. He barely glanced up. Oh, just a temporary situation, sweetheart. I'll have it sorted by the end of the week. Temporary situation? You stole my credit card information. Now. He set down his coffee cup with deliberate slowness. Let's not be dramatic. I'm your father. Everything I do is for this family's benefit. Benefit? How does gambling away $47,000 benefit anyone? Summer. His voice took on that condescending tone I'd grown to hate. Who paid for your first office space? Who introduced you to half your current clients? Your success exists because of my influence. I laughed bitterly. Is that how you justify theft? You're overreacting. He stood up, straightening his collar. Besides, you can afford it. Your business is doing well, thanks to my guidance, might I add. I'm calling the credit card company, I said, pulling out my phone. I'm reporting this as fraud. Dad's face darkened. You wouldn't dare. Think about what that would do to this family's reputation. Watch me. As I turned to leave, he called after me. Everything you are, everything you've achieved, it's all because of me. You owe me. I stopped at the doorway, my voice ice cold. The only thing I owe you is a reality check. And trust me, it's coming. Walking back to my car, I called my cousin Vera. Hey, remember when you said Dad was hiding something bigger? I think it's time we found out what. Look at this, Vera said, spreading documents across my kitchen counter. Your dad's been moving money between accounts for months. Small amounts at first, but they're getting bigger. I clutched my coffee mug tighter, staring at the paper trail. After 3 days of digging through financial records, my cousin had uncovered a pattern that made my stolen credit card look like pocket change. How did you get these? I asked. Vera smirked. Being the family's accountant has its perks. Nobody questions when I request documents. She pointed to a series of transactions. See these transfers? They're all going to shell companies. Classic signs of hiding gambling losses. My phone buzzed. Another message from Mom. Honey, please come to Sunday dinner. We can work this out as a family. I ignored it, just like the last 6 messages. Remember my college graduation? I asked Vera. When Dad gave that speech about how he guided my career choices? God, yes. Everyone praised him for being such an involved father, completely ignoring that you worked 3 jobs to pay your tuition. He's been doing it my whole life. I pulled up my laptop, taking credit for my work, acting like he's the mastermind behind everything I achieve. And now this. Vera leaned forward. Wait, what are you looking at? The Family Investment Group's records. I typed in my password. Dad's been pushing to get more control over the company finances. There's a stakeholders meeting next month. Summer? Vera's voice turned serious. I heard him talking to Victoria yesterday. He's planning something big, using your name somehow. My fingers froze over the keyboard. What? He was telling Grandma how he's launching a new investment venture. Called it the Summer Initiative or something. Said it would cement the family legacy. I slammed the laptop shut. He's going to use my reputation to cover his gambling debts. We need more proof. Vera pulled out her phone. I know someone at the bank who owes me a favor. Give me 2 days. Just then, the doorbell rang. Through the security camera, I saw my mother standing there, looking worried. I can't deal with this right now, I muttered. Go, Vera said. Keep things normal. I'll dig deeper. I opened the door. Mom rushed in, hugging me tight. Summer, please. Your father's sorry. He just got in over his head. I pulled away. Is he sorry or sorry he got caught? He's trying to make it right. The new business venture. Using my name without my permission? I cut her off. That's not making it right, Mom. That's making it worse. She stepped back, seeing something in my expression that made her pause. What are you planning? Nothing. I lied, sharing a quick glance with Vera. Just protecting what's mine. The charity gala was in full swing when Roberto found me hiding by the bar, staring at my phone. Vera had just sent another batch of documents, each one worse than the last. You look like you need something stronger than that sparkling water, Roberto said, sliding onto the bar stool next to me. As my business partner for the past 3 years, he could always tell when something was wrong. My father registered a new company yesterday, I said, showing him the incorporation papers. Summers Legacy Investment Group. He didn't even try to hide it. Roberto's usually cheerful expression hardened. Without your consent? He forged my signature. I downed the rest of my water, wishing it was vodka. Used the same template from when he stole my credit card information. Summer. Roberto grabbed my arm as I started to stand. Where are you going? He's here somewhere, probably bragging about his new venture to potential investors. Wait, he pulled me back. Think this through. Making a scene won't help. Then what will? My voice cracked. He's stealing my life, Roberto. Everything I've built, everything we've built together, he's trying to take it all. A familiar laugh boomed across the room. There was my father, surrounded by his usual crowd of admirers. He caught my eye and raised his glass, smiling like nothing was wrong. Roberto's hand tightened on my arm. We'll fight this the right way. I know some excellent lawyers. Lawyers take time. I cut him off. The stakeholders meeting is in 3 weeks. Once he announces the venture there, with Grandma Victoria's backing, then we'll be ready. Roberto pulled out his phone. Remember Tanner? He's been investigating investment fraud cases. Let me call him. I watched my father work the room, remembering all the times he'd done this before, taking credit for my achievements, positioning himself as the brilliant mentor behind my success. And now he was doing it again, but bigger. Summer? Roberto's voice snapped me back. Tanner can meet us tomorrow morning. He says your father's name has come up in other investigations. Other investigations? Apparently your dad's been busy. Multiple complaints about unauthorized use of funds, suspicious partnerships. Roberto's dark eyes met mine. You're not the only victim here. My phone buzzed with another message from Vera. Found the smoking gun. Hidden account in the Caymans. Call me ASAP. Roberto, I said, my voice steady for the first time that evening. I need your help. What I'm planning, it could get ugly. He didn't hesitate. I'm in. Whatever you need. I looked back at my father, still holding court across the room. Good, because in 3 weeks, I'm going to destroy everything he's built, and I need witnesses who aren't family. Holy shit, Tanner whispered, spreading the documents across his office desk. Your father's been running a parallel investment scheme for years, using family connections to secure investments, then diverting the funds through shell companies. Vera nodded, pointing to specific transactions. The Cayman account is where most of it ends up. And guess what? He's been making regular payments to offshore gambling sites. I leaned forward, studying the paper trail. How much are we talking about? Millions, Tanner said. He's been using your family's reputation, your grandmother's influence, and now he's trying to use your name to cover his tracks. My phone lit up with a text from Dad. Meeting tomorrow. Important discussion about your future in the family business. He's getting desperate, Roberto said, reading over my shoulder. The stakeholders meeting is next week. Tanner gathered the documents into a folder. Summer, this is serious. We're talking potential criminal charges. Are you sure you want to go through with this? Before I could answer, Vera's phone rang. Her face went pale as she listened. That was my contact at the bank, she said after hanging up. Your father just tried to access your business accounts. Used some old documents claiming he has power of attorney. What? I grabbed my laptop, checking my accounts. He can't do that. I revoked all his access. He failed, Vera assured me. But he's getting reckless. We need to move fast. Roberto paced the room. We should go to the authorities now. No, I said, my voice firm. He needs to face the family first. Let them see who he really is. A knock at the door made us all jump. It was my mother, looking exhausted. Summer, she said, stepping inside. I know what you're doing. The room went silent. Vera started gathering papers, but Mom raised her hand. Don't bother hiding them. I've known about your father's gambling for years. She wiped her eyes. I never knew how bad it got. Mom, he's planning something for the stakeholders meeting, she continued. Something big. He keeps talking about securing the family's future, about how you'll thank him later. Tanner cleared his throat. Mrs. Powell, what you're describing could be considered criminal? Mom's laugh was bitter. I know, that's why I'm here. She pulled out a USB drive. These are copies of everything. Bank statements, forged documents, recordings of phone calls. I've been collecting evidence for years, hoping I'd never need it. I stared at my mother, seeing her in a new light. Why now? Because he's not just destroying himself anymore. He's trying to destroy you. She placed the drive on the desk. Stop him, Summer, before he takes everything we've built. I picked up the drive, feeling its weight in my hand. Don't worry, Mom. In 1 week, everyone will know exactly who Francis Powell really is. The family dinner 2 days before the stakeholders meeting felt like sitting on a powder keg. Grandma Victoria presided over the table while Dad couldn't stop grinning, practically bouncing in his seat. Summer, darling, he said, passing the breadbasket. I can't wait for you to see what I've put together. The Summer Legacy Fund will revolutionize our family's investment strategy. I forced a smile, feeling the USB drive in my pocket like a burning coal. Sounds fascinating, Dad. Tell me more. Now, Francis. Mom interrupted, her hands shaking slightly as she poured more wine. Let's not discuss business at dinner. Nonsense. He waved her off. Summer needs to understand the opportunity I've created, the contacts I've lined up, the investors ready to commit. Using my name, I cut in, watching his expression carefully. He didn't even flinch. Of course, your reputation is impeccable. Thanks to my guidance, naturally. Grandma Victoria cleared her throat. Francis has shown me the projections. Most impressive. The family's future will be secure. My phone buzzed. A text from Roberto. Final documents ready. Tanner confirmed everything. No turning back after this. Something important? Dad asked, eyeing my phone. Just business. I slipped it back into my pocket. Speaking of which, how are those credit card charges working out? The table went silent. Dad's smile tightened. Ancient history, sweetheart. All taken care of. Really? I leaned forward. Because the credit card company seems very interested in how you obtained my information. Summer, Grandma Victoria warned. This is neither the time nor place. When is the time? I stood up, my chair scraping back. When he's emptied my accounts? When he's stolen my company's reputation? When he's gambled away everything I've built? Sit down, Dad growled, his mask slipping. No? I looked at each face around the table. You all know what he's doing. You've always known, and you've let him get away with it. Mom reached for my hand. Honey, please, we can work this out privately. Private is over. I headed for the door, then turned back. See you all at the stakeholders meeting. Don't worry, Dad. I've prepared quite a presentation about your investment strategies. His face went pale. What are you talking about? Ancient history, right? I smiled coldly. All those shell companies, the Cayman accounts, the forged documents. I'm sure the family will find it fascinating. You wouldn't dare, he whispered. Watch me. As I left, I heard Grandma Victoria ask, Francis, what is she talking about? For the first time in my life, my father had no answer. The morning of the stakeholders meeting, Dad showed up at my office unannounced. His usual polished appearance was gone, replaced by rumpled clothes and dark circles under his eyes. We need to talk, he said, closing the door behind him. Nothing to discuss. I kept organizing the presentation files on my laptop. Meetings in 3 hours. Summer, please. His voice cracked. Whatever you think you know, whatever you're planning, you don't understand the full picture. Really? I pulled up the offshore account records. Explain this then. Or these forged documents? Or maybe the 6 other people you've scammed? He slumped into a chair. I can fix this. I just need more time. The Summer Legacy Fund. Stop using my name. I slammed my laptop shut. You've stolen enough from me. I'm your father. He stood up, desperation turning to anger. Everything you are is because of me. And this is how you repay me? By trying to destroy me? Roberto appeared in the doorway, his expression hard. Is everything okay here? Fine. Dad said, straightening his tie. Just a family discussion. It's okay, Roberto. I met my father's eyes. Dad was just leaving. Think about your mother. Dad tried one last time. Think about what this will do to her. I am thinking about Mom. She gave me the final evidence I needed. The color drained from his face. What? She's known all along, been collecting proof for years. I stepped closer. How does it feel, Dad, knowing everyone's finally seeing the real you? His hand shot out, grabbing my arm. You little... Roberto moved faster than I'd ever seen, putting himself between us. Time to go, sir. Dad backed away, straightening his jacket. You'll regret this. When the family sees what you've done, they'll see the truth, I finished. For once in your life, you'll have to face the consequences of your actions. He stormed out, nearly colliding with Vera in the hallway. She carried a stack of folders, each one labeled with dates and transaction details. Everything's ready, she said, setting them down. Tanner's waiting in the conference room with the final presentation. Roberto touched my shoulder. Are you okay? No. I picked up the first folder, filled with evidence of years of deception. But I will be. After today, he'll never be able to hurt anyone else. My phone buzzed with a message from Mom. Be strong. I'll be there. Ready? Vera asked, gathering the folders. I looked at the family photos on my wall, decades of memories, all tainted by lies. Time to rewrite the story. Ready. I grabbed my laptop. Let's go show everyone who Francis Powell really is. The conference room fell silent as Dad finished his presentation about the Summer Legacy Fund. He stood there, beaming with false confidence, as family members and stakeholders nodded approvingly. And now, he announced, my daughter Summer will say a few words about this exciting new venture. I stood up, USB drive in hand. Yes, I will. I connected my laptop to the projector. But not about that. Dad's smile faltered. Summer, let me tell you about a different venture, I continued, pulling up the first document. One involving shell companies, forged signatures, and millions in gambling debts. Gasps filled the room as bank statements appeared on the screen. Dad lunged for the projector cable, but Roberto blocked his path. These are private family matters, Dad shouted. Private? I clicked to the next slide. Like these forged documents using my signature, or these transfers from the family trust to offshore accounts? Grandma Victoria stood up. Francis, what is she talking about? It's all lies, he sputtered. She's trying to undermine me. I have proof, I cut in. Vera, show them. My cousin distributed folders to each person. Bank records, witness statements, gambling site transactions, all verified by independent auditors. And this, I said, playing an audio recording, is Dad arranging illegal transfers using stolen identities. His voice filled the room. Use my daughter's credentials. She'll never know. Stop this. Dad slammed his fist on the table. I built this family's legacy. No. Mom's quiet voice cut through his rage. You destroyed it. She pulled out her own folder. And I have proof too. Dad staggered back. Martina, years of evidence, she said, her voice stronger now. Every lie, every theft, every betrayal. Tanner, I nodded to the lawyer. Would you explain the legal implications? Tanner stood, addressing the stunned room. What we're looking at is criminal fraud, identity theft, and embezzlement. Multiple counts. You're my daughter, Dad whispered, his face ashen. How could you do this to me? No. I met his eyes. How could you do this to me? To all of us? Grandma Victoria's voice cut through the chaos. Francis, leave this room. Now. The board will discuss your immediate removal and pressing charges. Victoria, please. Now. Her command made him flinch. As security escorted him out, he looked back one last time. The mighty Francis Powell, finally exposed for what he was. Summer, Grandma Victoria said, I believe you have some ideas about restructuring the family business? I nodded, pulling up the next presentation. I do, and this time everything will be transparent. The room settled in to listen, but not before Roberto squeezed my hand under the table. It was done. The truth was finally out. The morning newspaper headline said it all. Prominent businessman pleads guilty to fraud charges. I set it aside as Mom poured coffee in her kitchen, the same one where I'd first discovered Dad's betrayal. He took a plea deal, she said, sitting across from me. The prosecutor called this morning. How long? 5 years, plus restitution. She stirred her coffee slowly. He has to pay back everything he stole. The doorbell rang. Vera walked in carrying a stack of documents, followed by Roberto and Tanner. The restructuring papers are ready, Vera announced, spreading them across the table. The family board approved everything. New leadership, transparent accounting, proper oversight. And the summer legacy fund? I asked. Tanner smiled. Completely dissolved, though Grandma Victoria suggests keeping the name for your new charitable foundation. With your permission, of course. Speaking of Victoria, Mom said, she wants you to take over as CEO of the family business. I shook my head. No, I built my own company. That's where I belong. We knew you'd say that, Roberto grinned, which is why we drafted this partnership agreement instead. Your company remains independent, but with strategic alliance opportunities. The doorbell rang again. This time it was a delivery man with a letter. Mom signed for it, then handed it to me with trembling hands. It's from your father. The room went quiet as I opened it. His familiar handwriting filled the page. Summer, I won't ask for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But you deserve to hear the truth. You did this on your own. Every success, every achievement, it was all you. I took credit because I was jealous. My daughter surpassed me in every way, and I couldn't handle it. I'm sorry. Not just for the money or the fraud, but for making you doubt yourself. You are extraordinary, and that has nothing to do with me. Dad. I folded the letter carefully. Well, that's a first, an actual apology. Are you okay? Roberto asked softly. Yeah. I picked up the restructuring documents. Because this isn't about him anymore. It's about building something better. Mom reached across the table, squeezing my hand. He finally saw you, the real you. Too late, I said, but without bitterness. But that's okay. I see myself now. I signed the papers, officially marking the end of one era and the beginning of another. Outside, the sun was bright, and for the first time in months, my shoulders felt light. So, Vera said, gathering the documents. Ready to show everyone what you can really do? I looked around at my real support system, Mom, Vera, Roberto, Tanner, and smiled. I already am.